it is 7:01, and it looks like we have got a couple more in the waiting room, but I'm going to go ahead, since it is 7:01, and we do have really just a couple of hours, so I'm going to go ahead and start, and I want to welcome everybody who is here tonight. Welcome and good evening. This is the Spiritual Frontiers Fellowship April lecture by Randi Light, The Forgiveness Fire for Ultimate Healing. And tonight we're featuring Randi Light. She is an award-winning hypnotherapist, certified hypnosis instructor, healer, and author. And we want to thank everyone for joining this evening. If you're here for the first time, I want to welcome you. And if you've been with us before, welcome back to the SFF community. My name is Smith Prim, and I am the co-chairman for the Spiritual Frontiers Fellowship, along with Catherine Smart, who is with us tonight. Catherine is also our writer and editor. Kim Kasdorf is with us tonight. He's our media director. Welcome, Kim. And Eileen Jenna is here, and she will be, I think she was driving. She'll be in our program here momentarily. She's our program coordinator, does a fantastic job at bringing us quality speakers like Randi. Glad you're here with us tonight. SFF is here for you. It's an all volunteer-run organization, and it's here to help you develop and enhance your spiritual, mystical, and metaphysical awareness and consciousness. We do that by sponsoring programs like the one we're having tonight, designed to facilitate your personal growth and development, and a holistic and spiritual approach to health and living. I wanted to, as you saw me, I started the recording, so I wanted to make you aware that the program is being recorded. And if you don't want to be visible on that recording, simply turn off your camera, and that should work just fine. Let's see. I'm looking for one thing. All right, I'm going to continue on. Before I introduce our speaker tonight, I usually like just to take a moment, if we can clear our minds and with just a minute meditation. And we'll do that by closing our eyes gently and taking a breath in and releasing any remnants of our day that is not centered towards this meeting and what our goal is tonight with Randi. We'll take another breath inward, and we'll breathe in love and light into our heart. And exhale to relax. And one last breath in. And exhale peace and relaxation. And you can open your eyes and join us again. I'm so honored to introduce our speaker tonight, Randi Light. She, in her 17 years of teaching forgiveness to light workers and other hypnotherapists, Randi Light has discovered that when you forgive, you let go and accept the past. You have the power to create a bright and compelling future filled with what you want instead of what you don't want. A little bit about Randi. Randi Light is an MS-CH, CHT, has hypnotized thousands of children and adults to break through barriers and become the best version of themselves. Randi seeks to communicate from the heart and live her life in service to others. She's been trained in a number of healing modalities, including pediatric hypnosis, advanced DNA theta healing, alchemical hypnotherapy, emotional freedom technique, or EFT, Reiki, Akashic Records, Qigong, and NLP, which stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. So in tonight's talk, Randi will teach us the power of forgiveness and lead us through the forgiveness fire. This forgiveness process does not condone or encourage the harmful behaviors of others. It acknowledges and gives people a way to let go of grudges and cause them immeasurable physical and emotional pain. So in her words, forgiveness is one of the essential 4 hypnosis sessions that I use because I believe that every person on the planet would benefit from it. And she's referring to that's out of her book, The Essential 4 Success System. So last thing here, during Randi's Forgiveness Fire, you will experience a hypnotic induction and journey in which you set intentions and discover inner resources that prepare you for letting go of what no longer serves you. So I look forward to this experience tonight with Randi. Before we begin, last thing, it will be in 2 parts. Randi will present and she'll guide us with some of the exercises until around 8:30, where we'll take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll do the question and answer, which is a unique feature of being live in this program. So we're all glad you're here, and we'll look forward to that. So at this point, please sit back and enjoy the mind-altering presentation with Randi Light.
Thank you, Smith. That was awesome. And hello, everybody, the ones that I can see and the ones that I can't see. As you know, this is Randi Light, and this is my voice. I guess you can see me anyway. You may have heard this before. Resentment is like drinking poison and expecting your enemy to die. And that's from Nelson Mandela. And another one I want to share with you is, if you are holding a grudge is holding you, in Iyanla Vanzant. And then one of my favorites is Louise Hay, who said, forgiveness is for you. It's a gift you give yourself. When you forgive, you set yourself free. And she was also the one who said that forgiveness is the answer to almost every problem. As you know, we're going to go through a whole bunch of different things. So I want to just take a moment to honor all of you for coming here today, because you have decided to do something for yourself. And what's fascinating about that is that I'm going to share some research that when you work on yourself and you get into a higher vibration and let things go that no longer serve you and get out of resentment and go into love, it affects the consciousness. And I have a deep desire, and possibly you guys too, to raise the consciousness of humanity and move us forward into love. And that is a deep desire I have, and I love to share that with people, and especially with spiritual people. It is an honor and pleasure to be here, but you guys are here, and I want to thank you and honor you for taking the time to be here. So thank you for that. My intentions today are to help you to transform in some way. I'm going to share with you a bunch of different things about forgiveness. We're going to do some experiential exercises. I'm going to prepare you to have a great hypnotic experience and to be able to forgive. And I get that this is in a group session. I have a couple questions for those of you who can see me, or who I can see. You can have your hands go like this. I love being able to see. I totally understand the ones that don't really want to. It's, you know, late and whatever, you just want to chill out. But it also is good for me to be able to see and know. But you also might want to get pen and paper, because I'm most likely going to ask you some questions. It all kinds of depends on some time, and then you can write down the answers. And I'm okay, good, Flo, well done. How many of you have already done forgiveness work? Yeah, that's what I figured. A lot of people have. And how many of you realize that you still have work to do? Forgiveness work to do? Yes, it's an ongoing journey. Thanks, Tasha, for showing up there. And then how many of you have actually ever been hypnotized before? Okay, so almost everybody. Well done. Tasha, no for you. But thanks for, I like that. You know, just pop in for a second so I know you're listening. This just helps me to understand you, and it is my job to prepare you to have a great hypnotic experience. And as you're going to discover along the way, that hypnosis is actually a normal, natural, common everyday occurrence that we go in and out of many times a day, and it's just a focused state of awareness. I also like to think of hypnosis as meditation with a goal, with a purpose, but it's basically a brainwave state. So if you read some of the things, it's the alpha and theta brainwave state, and it gets us out of the active thinking brain and you just focus on my voice. So I'm going to go through a lot of different things later on to really prepare you for forgiveness and hypnosis. We could probably talk all day and discuss what forgiveness is, but we don't have that opportunity, and we really don't necessarily need to. What I do, as you guys have heard, that I have the 4-session system, right? That the Essential 4. And it's a 4-session system that Smith mentioned to you guys. And the 4th session is forgiveness, not the 1st session, not the 2nd, not the 3rd, the 4th. And there's a reason for that, because our egos can get so triggered. All of us have made other people upset at us in some point in our life. And all of us have experienced things where we are mad at somebody, or we're even just ourselves. And when you go through the Essential 4, when you go through hypnosis and you build, and here's what I like about the Essential 4, and I have to talk about it a little bit to get to the forgiveness concept. But we're building, the 1st session, it reduces stress and it builds confidence, and it helps you respond more resourcefully to the world. And it does what I call a little bit of emotional clearing in an light and easy way, so you can have a great hypnotic experience. But what that does is it sets a foundation for you to be able to forgive, for you to be able to get to the root cause of anger or resentment or guilt or whatever, because that's what we do on the 2nd session. We start to do healing your history and taking positive learning, so the events in your life become neutral or empowering. And all of that leads up to forgiveness. Most people aren't ready to do forgiveness on the 1st session. I have taught this at different conferences. I'm teaching it at the conference at the Hypno Expo in May. I've taught it at a few other conferences, and people and hypnotists have amazing experiences because they're a little bit prepared and ready to do this. And you guys are spiritual, and everybody pretty much has already done forgiveness work, but there's something really powerful that happens when you combine forgiveness with hypnosis. And you're going to discover it on so many levels. But the thing is that when you're in a hypnotic state, your conscious analytical mind sits down. We tell it to go sit down, and you always are focusing on my voice and what you're doing. And what happens then is that conscious mind, that analytical mind, the one that's listening right now, is not in the front row. It's the subconscious. And so it's easier for you, instead of analyzing, you accept suggestions, and you're in a focused and relaxed state. And I'm going to prepare you in a lot of different ways to help you to feel very, very good. And when you feel very, very good and you're like your best version of yourself, it's so much easier to forgive. It's so much easier for you to let go of what doesn't serve you in a hypnotic state. And I have actually been doing forgiveness work since I was in my 20s, before I became a hypnotist. And what was so cool about when I became a hypnotist and realized we needed to do forgiveness work was like, I already have a whole ritual and ceremony that I had put together about forgiveness. And I just utilized that in hypnosis. How many of you have know about the Heart Math Institute and heart breathing? Yeah, I love working with spiritual people. And just a sidebar, over the 17 years of working with people, and some are spiritual and some aren't, but when I used to work with in the past, when I worked with spiritual people, their guides so often would just take over the session, and I could not complete whatever it is I was doing. But now we've worked out something, so they know that what I'm doing, and so they don't necessarily take over the session anymore, and it's kind of fun and cool. But that was really fascinating to me. When I take people, I created this ritual before being a hypnotist of going to the forgiveness fire. But when you do it in that focused and relaxed state where you're more open and receptive, you can say things you need to say, get wisdom from your higher self, from the part of you that you might be mad at. But we do the heart breathing. And you guys are already experienced at it. I want to do heart breathing with you, but that's one of the elements that I incorporate into the forgiveness fire process that I'm going to take you through today, because heart breathing has incredible benefits for you, even when you just heart breathe. And we can just do that right now. We can just heart breathe right now. The beautiful thing about heart breathing is you can do it with your eyes open or your eyes closed. But today we're going to do it with our eyes closed. And I'm just going to take you through it now. And then I'm going to take you through it again when we go to, when we do the forgiveness fire in a hypnotic state. But what happens when you heart breathe, and all we're doing is focusing our breathing on our heart, in and out of our hearts. When you do that, you actually start to create what's called heart coherence. When I take you into a hypnotic state, your brainwaves are going to slow down out of beta into alpha and theta. I don't want you asleep in delta, and I don't want you having your 60,000 thoughts. But your brainwaves are going to be cycling in alpha and theta, and that's a much more slow, coherent brainwave state. Well, the same thing, your heart has that ability too to get in coherence and nice and organized. And when that happens, then your brain can entrain. And also, not only does that help you balance your nervous systems and amplify and awaken your calming nervous system, but also it gets us all connected. And there's research I want to share with you. I have so many things I want to share, so I have to try to make sure I share it with you. But since I've already talked about it, I'm going to share this part before I share this other part. But how many of you have heard of the Maharishi effect? Anybody heard of the Maharishi effect? So a couple people, and yeah, everything just changed. I thought maybe people were going to tell me. So in the early 1990s, John Hagelin, oh good, Larry, yeah. They brought in 4,000 meditators from all over the world. And they housed them in the Washington, D.C. area to see if they could reduce crime. And they even tried to get the police on board, and the police were like, eh. But then when violent crime started reducing by over 20%, the police had to get on board because something amazing was happening, because there were 4,000 people meditating over an 8-week period. Whether people knew they were there or not, people were less inclined to do awful things. Think about that. But so all these people, their brainwaves started cycling together, and we know that we can also do the heart breathing and get our hearts together. And since then, there have been over 50 studies since the 1990s demonstrating the benefits of group meditation on the nation. And remember, the main difference between hypnosis and meditation is hypnosis is meditation with a goal, with a purpose. And I'm going to be guiding you so your conscious mind can really relax and let go and go even deeper, because you don't need it. You don't have to guide yourself into the state, and you're just going to be focusing on my voice. So you don't have to actually try to do anything. You just get to relax into it. You're going to automatically, your brainwaves are automatically going to slow down into alpha and theta, and I'm going to keep you out in alpha and theta. I don't want you asleep, and I don't want you having your 60,000 thoughts, but sometimes you're going to feel like you're very deep in la la land and you can barely hear my voice. And sometimes you're going to feel like you're not in hypnosis, and that's just what happens, and that's okay. And you want to be okay with that. And then I'm going to go into the heart breathing in a second, but I have to share with you a couple of amazing things. When I started doing the forgiveness fire and combining the heart breathing, the Ho'oponopono prayer. How many of you are familiar with the Ho'oponopono prayer? Wonderful. And cord cutting, right? How many of you feel cord cutting? Right. This is a great group. We're all on the same page. We're all on the same wavelength. Okay. I had to make that joke, but the first time that I noticed something happening was when I worked with this person to stop smoking and lose weight. And we did all this other stuff. And then eventually we did for the forgiveness. And she had been devastated because her son would no longer talk to her. Well, I mean, he would kind of, but like she went from being grandmother to not being able to see the grandkids and not being called or anything on Mother's Day. And it just was just so upsetting for her, as you guys can obviously imagine. And so we did the forgiveness fire process. And I probably didn't even have all of that stuff that I do now, but we did it. And her son, 2 days after we did this, reached out to her for the first time in a couple of years. Think about that. I was like, huh? What? 2 days after we do the forgiveness fire. You and I know that things happen on other levels, right? I can't always explain this to all my clients because not all my clients are spiritual, although I get a lot of them. And that alerted me that something really cool was going on. And then I had some other people, a mother and a daughter, who came to see me. I had done this free, I called it hypnosis meditation. They both had sleep issues. They both slept through their, they didn't even set their alarms. They were both late for work. They never set their alarms because they can't sleep. And they both were late for work. They both worked with me privately. They both told me this awful stuff about the dad or the husband drugging the 14-year-old, drugging the mom. This is the 14-year-old who saw that, drugging the mom so he could go out and, I guess, fool around with women. And it was just, and this woman, the mother, was actually getting diagnosed with MS while we were going through all these processes. And people were telling her how peaceful she looked. But what was so amazing is I worked with those two. I didn't get to work with the dad, but he started changing. He was nicer to them, which I can understand on a physical level. I could just imagine those two were like a team against dad, but things started happening on other levels. And then one more story like this, because it's just it blows my mind, but it's a few other things happened, like at a conference when I was teaching this, one of the people, the hypnotist, went through it, and she went through the process with her sister, and her sister like called her during the process. And then someone who's like 8 years didn't talk to their brother. And actually he had like a bipolar reaction because he was so devastated by his brother and mother firing him, or, from the family business and stuff, that he had to go to a hospital. And 8 years later, I remember the day he walked in and said, well, maybe we should do forgiveness for my family. I was like, waited years of working with this guy for him to say that. And a week after we did that forgiveness fire, the brother reached out after 8 years of them not saying a word to each other. So if those things don't get you excited, there are some other things, because there's so much research about how much forgiveness, how toxic forgiveness is to us. And that makes me think about the question that I ask all my clients is, what do you think forgiveness is? And what do you think forgiveness does? And I share that, but take a moment to write down what you think forgiveness is and what you think forgiveness does. Because this is about you. This is for what you want, what you think it does. So take about 30 seconds and write that down. We know forgiveness can do so many things. We know it sets you free, letting go. I know that my clients become so much more intuitive as a result of letting go of resentment and guilt. Think about that, let alone how much more fun and joy you can have because you're in a higher vibration. It's really, forgiveness is a feeling that manifests as healing, and it frees you. And it frees you to be filled up with divine wisdom, power, love. It frees you to bring in what you want instead of what you don't want. But go ahead and ask yourself this. You might think of someone, one person or more than one person, but how will not forgiving yourself or someone else affect your life? How will not forgiving yourself or someone else affect your life? Just take a moment to write down. And of course, you're going to also answer and write down the question, what will forgiving yourself or someone else do for you? What will forgiving yourself or someone else do for you? Either write it down or think about it. And then I'm going to ask you this. Do you love yourself enough to forgive and heal the wounds of your past? Do you love yourself enough to forgive and heal the wounds of your past? And Catherine shared, not forgiving will suck my energy away and reduce opportunities for better energy. Yeah. And then, are you willing to forgive? And are you ready to forgive? But here's the thing that we really need to understand is you can say yes because you feel it at this moment. And then even at the forgiveness fire, you can feel it even more. But if you are mad at yourself at another time, or you bump into that person and you notice you have energy around it, that's okay. It's a process. It's a journey. So I keep looking at this is my Step Into Your Power workbook that I give to all my clients to do before they come for the forgiveness fire. Not all of them do it, and one of my quotes that I wrote and the questions I just asked came from that. Forgiveness is a process that begins with learning and ends with loving yourself. And all of that is a journey. How many of you would say you love yourself right now? Right. So it's a scale. So actually, if you go to my website, randilighthypnosis.com, you probably just could Google my name, but there's a love yourself quiz and you can take the quiz to see, because we know there's a spectrum of how much we can love ourselves. And like I'd like to teach all my students is there's always another layer of the onion to peel to heal, right? So as we clear anger, resentment, disappointment issues can come up, but there's always another layer of the onion to peel to heal, even with forgiveness. And there's always another level of joy, of confidence, of intuition. There's always another level for us to get to. I don't know about you, but it's been a fascinating journey being a hypnotist and the different levels of confidence that have come along the way and the lack of it at the beginning, right? But it's just fascinating. You know, I might have been confident in a different situation, but there's always another layer of the onion to peel to heal, and there's always another level of confidence. And why I bring that up is because loving yourself is a journey. Figuring out when you're being mean to yourself can be really, really sneaky. And it just means you have more work to do. It doesn't mean you're bad or broken. All people, when they work with me privately and do that Essential 4, have to sign an agreement to promise to love and accept themselves, to stop self-criticism. And that's one of the key things you can do. to help you to forgive is for your ego to be intact, for you to be, if your ego is wounded, or like the front row star victim, all of that will rob you and make it difficult for you to forgive. But when you come from a place of love, loving yourself, being in the vibration of unconditional love, or close to it, versus fear and all the emotions that are connected to fear. If you and yours come from that place of love, loving yourself, love being why you're here, to love, to get out of fear and into love, then it makes it a whole lot easier for you to forgive. On that note, we're going to take a moment to close our eyes and do the heart breathing. I'm going to ask you to come up with a memory where you loved yourself, whether that memory was yesterday or many years ago. But I just wanted to plant that seed, and it doesn't matter which one. You could have 10, or you could barely have one, and it could be petting an animal or something, but I'll tell you all that. So we're just going to do the heart breathing so you can activate your heart's intelligence and get into heart coherence, and then we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. So go ahead and close your eyes if you haven't already, and start focusing your breathing on your heart. Imagine you're breathing in and out as if you're breathing in and out through your heart. And you might imagine breathing in and out about a foot in front of your body, through your body, and out the back about a foot. You might do it rhythmically with like the count of 4, or deep breathe. Focus your breathing on your heart and imagine or pretend you're breathing in and out love, unconditional love, universal love, breathing in love and out love. So love is in you and surrounding you. Keep focusing your breathing on your heart, breathing in and out as if you're breathing in and out unconditional love, universal love, a color, a sound, a feeling of love. And then invite your heart to open, and see and hear and feel your heart opening, perhaps like a rosebud opening into magnificent purple rose, or like a door opening, tunnel flowing, or vortex spinning. Invite your heart to open, feel your heart opening, and breathe in and out that unconditional love, that universal love. And to amplify that feeling of love, you're going to become a time traveler, and you're going to go back to a memory when you felt very loving or loved, or both. That memory could have been yesterday or many years ago. It could have been petting an animal, a hypnotic or meditative experience, walking on the beach, somebody throwing a party for you, holding someone, being held. I'm going to count backwards. Just allow each number you hear me say to relax you and deepen you. When I snap my fingers, you're going to be back in that wonderful memory, reliving it with all of your senses. With that count of 3, imagine yourself time traveling back to that wonderful, loving memory. 2, trust all of your impressions going back in time. 1, be there now in that loving memory. Go through the memory, see it, hear it, feel it, use the senses that you use. Rewind it and replay it, make it even bigger and brighter and more lifelike. And feel that love. It's okay if you want to rewind it and replay it, immerse yourself in that body. Feel the textures, feel the love. Recognize the real you, love. And breathe that love in and out of your heart. This emotion, this vibration. Breathe in love and out love. So love is in you and surrounding you. Good. And make a promise to have your back, to be there for yourself. Make a promise to stop self-criticism. Make the promise to yourself to learn to love and accept yourself more and more every day in every way. And then in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. When I get to 3, you'll open your eyes. 1, back into the present. 2, feeling really, really good. 3, open those eyes. That was heart breathing, the quick heart coherence technique. I combined that with a little bit of hypnotic connection or NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, because you went to a memory where you felt it to activate that feeling. That's the best way to reconnect with a feeling that you want to feel, is to go to that memory and close your eyes and relive it. And then when you breathe it in and out of your heart, you start to balance your nervous systems, activate your calming nervous system, get your heart into coherence. What's interesting is heart rate variability, HRV. It's in everything now, which is really, really cool. Like on the, the watches, the Apple Watches and all the different things, they actually demonstrate heart rate variability. And so obviously it can be measured, and heart coherence can be measured. The Heart Math Institute, I want to share this study because I think you guys will love it. And I may have shared this study with last time I did a presentation for the Spiritual Frontiers, but it's an interesting, so heart breathing you can be done with your eyes open or closed. I like to do with my eyes closed and have my clients experience that, so they go back in time. But you could just stand here and you could sit here and listen to me and heart breathe and get into heart coherence, which can be measured. Dr. Glenn Ryan, one of the main researchers at the Heart Math Institute, he conceived of a study, and he broke the people up into 3 groups, all that had been trained in creating heart coherence. And they all held vials of DNA. And the first group was told to hold a vial of DNA while getting into that elevated mood of love or joy or appreciation, which is what creates that heart rate variability, that heart coherence, when you get into that elevated mood. So this first group was holding a vial of DNA and told to get into that elevated mood and create heart coherence to see if it would affect the DNA. There was no statistically significant change. Then he had a second group that they were told actually to hold a clear intention to wind or unwind the DNA with their minds. And this group had no statistically significant change. The third group was told to enter into heart coherence, get into that elevated mood that does that of like love, joy, appreciation, excitement, enthusiasm, to get into that heart coherence and have a clear intention to wind or unwind the DNA. And this group that had a clear intention and was in that elevated mood of love or joy, appreciation, those people were able to wind or unwind the DNA with their minds up to 25%. Think about that. In order to produce an intended effect, we need to get into that heart coherence, that elevated mood, and have a clear intention. Okay. How's everybody doing? Yeah. I love the heart breathing. It's great for everything. It's great for meditation. You could do it for 5 minutes. But there's more incredible things about the heart. Now, the forgiveness fire that I'm going to be taking you guys to, the forgiveness fire is a fire that transcends all space and time. And anyone you need to forgive or needs to forgive you, including yourself or someone who's passed on, can come to the sacred fire. But it's higher self to higher self. It's not ego self. So you can actually understand things you couldn't understand and see things you couldn't see before and hear things you couldn't necessarily hear. And that's the beautiful thing about that. Before I realized all of that, some people weren't allowed in. It was fascinating. Today with the group, you'll have an opportunity to invite yourself there as well as one other person. But remember, I'm not going to be there for you, like in the sense of like when you're here on a one-on-one doing private sessions, I can help you in any way. But you guys are all spiritual and have all experienced all of this before, so I think you'll just do great. Obviously, sometimes forgiveness, this can be tremendous, but sometimes you need to do private sessions in order to actually be able to do it. But sometimes this is all you need, especially if you've done things like this before. I hope that makes sense. You also get to invite a guide to go with you to the forgiveness fire. And it can be like a spirit guide, it can be an angel, it could be a friend, it could be an animal. And some people go it alone, and that needs to be okay. When you're doing hypnosis or meditation, when you are doing self-hypnosis or meditation, you probably noticed that sometimes you see, like you're visual, sometimes you hear, sometimes you feel. Everybody is different. And what you want is to trust how you receive and how you perceive impressions. If I were to take you to if I were to just have you close your eyes and go to the beach, like I just had you close your eyes and go to a memory where you felt very loving or loved. For some of you, it might have been bright and vivid, and you really saw that memory or that event. Some of you might have been just clear or just kind of there. So that means you can visualize, but it may or may not be your dominant sense when you close your eyes and imagine. And you need to realize that some people, it's a freaking movie, and the rest of us, it's not. Some of you can actually hear sounds, like you heard either your voice or somebody talking. Or if I send you to the beach, you can actually hear the water or the seagulls. Others are not going to hear a thing. And the whole key is to be okay with that. Some of you can actually feel the warm sun on your skin, or you could feel the textures of that love. Or if you were petting an animal, you could feel the fur or the hair. And others, you're not going to feel anything. And you just need to be okay with that. That's the whole key. How you're doing it, you got to be okay with. I do this lemon exercise with my clients, and almost everybody during the lemon exercise has a biochemical physiological response to their own imagination. So however they saw it or heard it or felt it was good enough, whether it was barely there or not. But you guys are advanced, and I think we're okay. One of my favorite new scientific experiments that I have to share with you, that I'm actually going to read to you because it is just too profound to not read. I've been sharing all the time. You may have recently heard about it. I think I call it the heart photons of light study. A scientifically controlled study conducted by German researchers at the University of Kassel has shown that while the chest area of an average person emits only 20 photons of light per second, someone who meditates on their heart center and sends love and light to others emits an amazing 100,000 photons per second. That is 5,000 times more than the average human being. Numerous studies have also shown that when these photons are infused with a loving and healing intent, their frequency and vibration increases to the point where they can literally change matter, heal disease, and transform negative events. Isn't that wild and cool and awesome? And so when you're at the forgiveness fire, So I'm going to prepare you for the forgiveness fire. It's in the middle of a meadow. Of course, yours might be different. You'll have a guide. You're going to go through some processes of communicating. And then you're going to check for chords and do whatever you need to do. The energetic chords that most of you are familiar with. I have people, and I do this with them, and they are not necessarily spiritual. So they don't necessarily understand chords, but there's almost every single time some kind of metaphor of chords. Whether you recognize the spiritual level of the chords or it's a metaphor, it is powerful. And when you sever the chords, however you and your guide want to, your memories, your soul fragments come back. A lot of times there is a heart-to-heart chord. I'm sharing this with you because once we do deal with the chords and sever, I used to relocate, but there's such a power in severing. And then if you choose to create a new one, heart to heart with spirit, with source, then it's just a heart one. And that's where those photons of light can come in or not come in. But you're going to have options to completely sever those or to sever them, except for the heart to heart one. And then just really clear it with spirit. But you can just sever them completely. When I start talking about the heart to heart one with spirit, if you don't want that one, don't do it. You'll be in hypnosis. You have choices. Does that make sense? Okay. Very cool. Okay. One of my favorite things that I'm trying to think of how we're doing with time. We're also going to do the Ho'oponopono prayer. And most of you are familiar with that, and it has all kinds of interesting history to it. And depending on who you talk to or who you ask, all I know is, I don't know who, I was doing this with myself, I think, the forgiveness process, listening to it, working on it. And I did the Ho'oponopono prayer with myself, right? So myself was here and I was here. And myself said to me, the Ho'oponopono prayer, which is, I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. So myself said it to me and I said it to myself, and it was so profound. I was like, oh my God, I have to do this. It felt so good to have her forgive me and me forgive her. So however you do it is fine. Catherine, do you have something you need to say?
The only thing I wanted to say is you might want to take a break. People might want to take a break before the hypnosis.
I absolutely agree, including myself. A bio break would be good. Thank you.
Mhm.
So when we do that part, once again, I'll give you options. You're just going to do what works for you, what's best for you. And I hope that all makes sense. Okay. We are going to come back at before, but hold on. We'll come back at the top of the hour because it depends on the time zone. I can't hear somebody trying to say something.
It's
but
yeah, it's 7:50 p.m.
Well, it's 6:50 where I live, but
So
so at the
you
top
want
of
to
the
do a
hour.
10-minute break?
Yeah, but hold on. When we come back, I am still going to prepare you for a couple more minutes, but you can take your computer or whatever if you want to sit and get really comfortable or lay down, but don't fall asleep. If you think you're going to fall asleep, stay sitting up in a comfortable chair. But this is a time for you to relax. But if you know you're going to sleep or you might fall asleep, then you might want to not relax or lay down. Okay. But you can find a place where you can be comfortable. Okay. And when you come back, we're going to talk for a few more minutes. I'm going to have you set your intentions, but you'll do it again in hypnosis. And I'll just prepare you a little bit more for hypnosis, and then we'll go into hypnosis. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
And we'll take a minute here. You can take the bio break, or we can chat. You can stay active as you choose. And so we got that. We got about 9 minutes until the top of the hour.
All right.
Everybody's doing well tonight.
Yep.
Any thoughts so far about our presentation? Are you looking forward to the upcoming exercise?
Yeah,
Diane,
I was
did you just join us?
I did. I had, again, enormous trouble. I tried my phone, I tried my Mac, I tried everything. So it's taken me all this time to get here. So I'm fine. I'm just way behind.
Zoom
But that's okay.
Zoom just went through an update. That doesn't explain trouble in the past, but I think a lot of people were having trouble this week and even last week on some of my work Zoom calls because you had to update your computer or you had to update Zoom, whatever.
It didn't tell me that though. I would have
Really?
assumed it would have told me that. Yeah. And then I would have done it.
Right, of course.
But thank you for that. When we
Yeah.
get finished, I'll go in and look just to make sure. But
Yeah.
normally it tells me that.
All right. That's just what I heard because
Yeah.
I know a lot of
It
people.
makes
have been
sense. I
having
had that
issues.
trouble last time I was on here,
Yeah.
but
So-
that's okay. I'm
But
here
anyway,
now.
I did want to throw it out there. So for those people who don't know me, I'm Eileen Jenna, and I do programs for Spiritual Frontiers Fellowship. And we are pretty much all booked for this year. But if anybody has any suggestions for speakers or practitioners that like to speak and teach something, please share.
Oops, what just happened?
Oh, I don't know. That happened to all of us though, Diane.
It
Okay,
did.
good.
I don't
Well,
know either.
bad, but good.
I know, right? This is crazy. So anyway, I just wanted to
That's
throw that out
somebody's
there.
particular, Catherine Smart. That's their, whoever that is, that's their,
Oh, Catherine,
Mm.
she's one of our co-chair people.
uh-huh.
Anyway,
It's okay.
yes, it is okay. But is everybody, I don't know how many people are still on. There's a lot of new names on here though.
There's
Mhm.
24.
There's a lot of new names of people I haven't seen before. And there's some familiar ones too, but oh, and iPhone. I've definitely heard of iPhone.
That's what I've got.
Is that you? That's like you though, is it?
Yeah. But I haven't been in several years because I had to play the COVID game and everything. So I'm just so excited y'all are doing these on Zoom now.
Right. It's so, we did kind of talk with everybody and see what everyone thought. And, there's something to be said about being together, and we're trying to think of ways to be together. But, we're also being able to bring a lot of people in that typically couldn't have come and spoken for
Right.
us.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Randy is not in this area. I think the rest of our speakers for this year are not from this area,
Mhm.
which is kind of cool because there's no way we would have been able to do that.
That's right. That's right.
So it's pretty exciting. And I know it just helps a lot of us who are getting older and don't want to go out at night anymore.
Well, it's just another one of those examples of synchronicity that we have this huge pandemic. Oh, and here's Zoom. You know,
Right?
we didn't have that before. I don't remember it
Mm.
anyway.
Yeah, no, it's really, I think it's helped a lot of people.
It's
I
been a
mean,
lifesaver for millions of people.
and you know what? I actually, because of Zoom, I have connected with some high school friends And we have been Zooming since April of 2020.
Oh my
There's
God.
10 of us. And now we're all meeting in Charleston in November.
That's fantastic.
And we're from all over the country. Like we haven't seen each other, some of us in 50 years.
Yep,
Wow.
yep, yep.
So I am beyond grateful that, you know, there was some really good stuff. I mean, certainly people went through some horrific stories to tell during COVID, but there's some good stuff that came out of it too.
There were. I started year one. I started making a little list of the I hate to use the word benefits, but
Yeah, no, but they are.
that's the only word
there
that's
have
coming
been,
to me
yeah.
right now. But the benefit of not losing. I mean, I've got friends that they had grandchildren. Their daughters and sons had grandchildren. They were just couldn't do anything, and but with
Right,
Zoom, they could
right.
see them and see them and get to know them, and the baby get to know them. I mean, it's just been fantastic.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It just gave
And you
me
know,
chills.
it's always easier to see benefits after the fact. And
Mhm.
one of the challenges, one of the things I've been challenging myself with is to try to recognize that there are benefits. Like no matter how horrible a situation seems or how challenging a situation seems, I
Mhm.
know that when it's over and done, I will be able to see some benefit that came out of it.
Yeah.
But the goal is to try to have the faith that that will be the case while you're going through it.
Right. Well, we don't have, I always say, people say, well, I don't know if it'll ever, I said, we are not privy to the bigger picture.
Right, right.
You know,
Exactly.
it's like we have one station, that's it. And
Yeah.
there's gazillions of stations around the
Yeah.
world and we don't know about any of them. So
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
just have our little party with our little selves and our friends and family and SFF. You know, I'm
Mhm.
just so glad to see your face. I know you don't remember me, but I knew you.
I remember you.
Oh,
Of
do
course I
you? Oh,
do. Yes.
I'm so excited. It's like I saw your face and I went, oh, I don't remember her name. And then you said, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Where's
No,
Abby? What's he up to? I saw
oh, he's doing great, but right now
speaking.
nobody was. So he's been doing great. His book came out last year. He's been traveling the
Oh,
country,
awesome.
and he does a lot of TV and media. He's on North Carolina. Wait, I think it's what is it? Something North Carolina Today. It's like he has a segment on CBS Morning America,
Oh.
or whatever.
Oh, wow.
So he's doing great, but right now, for anyone that doesn't know, he is in Jersey Boys, performing in Jersey Boys at Theater Raleigh in North Raleigh.
No
And
way.
he is having the time of his life. And a bunch of
bet
us on the
he
board went
is.
to see him last night.
And it
and
was
great.
awesome. It was an awesome show. I was
I gotta
talking
write
about it
that down.
today.
Jersey Boys. Oh
And I
my
don't know if you're
God.
familiar with Theater Raleigh. It's a small theater
Yes.
just off of Old Wake Forest Road.
In there. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And Jersey Boys opened last night. It's running through the 23rd. And they've refurbished the theater and it's comfortable. And the music and the talent were phenomenal.
Yes,
That's
right
just
on.
amazing. You
All
know.
right, I think we may be back,
Oh,
Randy.
good.
7:59.
Not ready
Good
to
talking to you,
begin?
Diane.
You too.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Okay, so we're going to start in just a moment and hopefully you guys have gotten comfortable, but I do want to say a couple things that I will, after the hypnosis, I'm going to share with you, next steps, because the subconscious always could use a next step. And I have some special bonuses. Some of you have already read about them, but I've actually added some bonuses if you end up wanting to work with me privately, or if you want to become a certified hypnotherapist and essential force specialist as well. I've got some special bonuses and gifts for all of you guys, and I'll tell you guys that after the hypnosis during the Q&A, we can dive into that a little bit. Okay, so now that it's 7 o'clock, what we're going to do is, I already told you to feel comfortable about how you receive impressions. I also want to say that you can do a couple of things. First of all, if your mind wanders, it's common. That's how our brain works. But as soon as you notice that, bring your mind back to my voice. because there's time distortion in hypnosis. And so like 5 minutes could have gone by. And here, well, let me tell you this other part first. It's not even an if, it's a when your conscious analytical mind pops in, how will you know? Because I'll be guiding you into hypnosis and you'll be asking in your mind, am I doing this right? Is this working? Am I deep enough? You'll start analyzing. And as soon as you notice that, literally tell that conscious analytical mind to go sit down and come back and focus on my voice and what you're doing. And that's where the time distortion can come in. So 5 minutes could have gone by since you had that analytical thought and you have no idea, because there's time distortion in hypnosis. And your mind is the creative mind. This is super important. Your mind is the creative mind, and it knows how to help you be the best you can be. I've planted seeds, and we're going to go to the forgiveness fire. If you don't like fires, or if you don't like meadows, you might have a different kind of setup, and you want to be okay with that. Your mind is a creative mind and knows how to help you be the best you can be. Just do your best to come back and be able to do what I am suggesting. And remember, if you don't want to do something, I'm going to give you ideas, but if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Those are your options. I hope all that makes sense. I'm going to keep you in alpha and theta today. I don't want you asleep, and I don't want you having your 60,000 thoughts, but I can't see half of you. And if you were here in person, when I hypnotize groups, I usually go and give them a little bit of a nudge. I think it's important for you to think about an intention to go to the forgiveness fire. Like, what outcomes do you want? And you could even take a moment to write it down, unless you're already too comfortable. But what do you want to have or be or feel, achieve, learn, experience, let go? What do you want to feel after the session? What do you want for yourself, for your session, for your life? These are all questions. What outcomes do you want? You could just be, you want to feel lighter and freer. You want to be the best version of yourself. You want to let go of anger, resentment, guilt. But if you do write something like, I want to let go of anger, something like that, you want to then make it clear what you actually want to feel. So if you let go of anger and resentment, guilt and stuff like that, well, what do you want to feel? So make sure that's part of your thing. Okay. All right. And remember, hypnosis is a way of programming and reprogramming your subconscious mind for success. And you want to keep that in mind. So that's what we're going to be doing, programming and reprogramming your subconscious mind for success. And remember, this can help you truly. Just let me guide you. I'm going to have you go on a beach. And if you don't like beaches, imagine something else. If you don't like sand, imagine something else. But that's how we're going to do it for now. All right. I'm going to take a sip of water. And go ahead and close your eyes. If you're ready to go into hypnosis with me, close your eyes and start with what I call the deep belly breathing. So on your next breath in, take a deep belly breath in. Hold your breath in for as long as you comfortably can. With your eyes closed, look up above your eyebrows, connecting with your higher self and your intuition. And then whenever you're ready, lower your eyeballs. And when you choose to breathe out, imagine a healing sound wave relaxing the muscles behind your eyes, in your jaws, neck, and shoulders, down to your toes. And let's do that again. On your next breath in, take a deep belly breath in. Fill up your belly, hold your breath in for as long as you comfortably can. Look up, connect with that higher self and intuition. And when you choose to lower the eyeballs and breathe out, imagine a healing sound wave flowing through you from the top of your head, through your body, to the tips of your toes. Now you can continue to deep breathe, you can resume normal breathing, or both. Either way, begin to pay very close attention to the sound of my voice. as if memorizing every word you hear me say. Imagine yourself right now walking along a very welcoming, inviting beach. Imagine yourself on that beach now. Feel the warm sun on your skin and see that bright blue, expansive sky. Picture or imagine yourself walking along that shoreline, imagining or pretending that every step you take doubles your relaxation. Listen for the sounds of the water and animals welcoming you and greeting you. Notice that there's a big giant 5 written in the sand. Engage all your senses and imagine yourself walking over towards that 5 now. In a moment, you can begin to erase or melt or dissolve that 5, however your creative mind might like to do that. And as you imagine that 5 dissolving, feel yourself relax and let go and drift down deeper and deeper to that place inside you where things change, where things heal, where insight lives. And when that 5 is dissolved, imagine yourself walking along that shoreline with a lightness of being, a lightness of being, a spring in your step. Go on and walk on over towards the 4 that is written in the sand. And in a moment, once again, you can erase, melt, or dissolve that 4. And as you do, you can erase, melt, or dissolve the tension right out of your mind, body, and life. Perhaps like an ice cube melting on a hot summer day. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. And when you breathe out, picture, hear, and feel all the tension melting away like an ice cube melting on a hot summer day. And as that 4 melts away, you drift down deeper and deeper, beginning to feel like you're melting right there into the chair or wherever you are laying down. And when you've done that, begin walking along that shoreline with a lightness of being, a spring in your step, and walk on over towards a 3 that you now see. And as you walk towards that 3, it's time for you to become aware of 10 things you could feel truly grateful for. And at least 5 of them need to be things you could feel grateful for about you, qualities, resources, and really begin to feel that appreciation in your heart for 10 things you could feel truly grateful for. And as you do, just get more and more comfortable, relaxed, and at ease. In a moment, you're going to begin to recognize and realize that you and the universe are working together. And you can begin to erase part of the 3 and imagine the water flowing in, erasing the other part of the 3, perhaps rolling over your feet in the middle of the 3. And as a result, you feel more safe, more supported, relaxed, and at ease. Feel that happening now. See and hear that happening now. As you get more and more comfortable, more and more relaxed, and more ease. Knowing and now realizing and feeling in every fiber of your being that you and the universe are working together, that life is happening for you. Begin walking along that shoreline with a lightness of being, a spring in your step, shedding anything that no longer serves you as you feel or imagine feeling the warm sun on your skin. Walk on over towards the 2 that's written in the sand. Now, in a moment, that water's going to flow in and erase that 2 for you and take you to the exact level you need to achieve the intentions that you wrote down. At this moment, go ahead and tell every single part of you, the source that created you, what you want, knowing that in the distance is the welcoming woods, the friendly forest, and it's through that forest where the meadow is, where the forgiveness fire lives. And anyone you need to forgive or needs to forgive you or both, including yourself or someone who's passed on, can come to that sacred fire. But remember, it's higher self to higher self. So you can see what needs to be seen, hear what needs to be heard, understand what needs to be understood, and let go of what no longer serves you. And as you set your intentions, recognize this. Good. And once you've set those intentions, imagine the water supporting you, the universe supporting you completely, and washing away the 2 for you, and taking you deeper and deeper to the exact level you need to achieve those intentions. That's right. Good. And feel how relaxed you are as you walk along that shoreline with a new level of awareness, a new level of confidence. And with that confidence, creativity, and curiosity, dissolve the 1 that's written in the sand so you can just double that relaxation. And as you do, just allow sounds that you hear inside or outside your room to relax you deeper and fade away, making it easy for you to focus and concentrate on what you're doing and the sound of my voice. Also, continue to allow every suggestion that I say for your highest good to flow deep into your subconscious mind and make a deep, lasting impression, so that from now on, from this moment forward, you are and you feel so much more calm, so much more confident, and so much more in control of your thoughts, in control of your feelings, in control of your actions and your reactions. Now go ahead and notice that the welcoming woods has a special path there. That friendly forest, there's a path. Once you sense the path, stop in front of it. That is the path that leads you through the woods to the sacred fire, the forgiveness fire, in the middle of the meadow. You get to invite a guide with you to travel with you to the forgiveness fire, a guide, a mentor, or an angelic presence. I'm going to count backwards. Just allow each number to relax you and deepen you. And when I say that number 1, invite in a guide, a mentor, or angelic presence, and trust your impressions. With that count of 3, go deeper now. 2, trust your impressions. 1, invite in a guide now. Trust your impressions. If somebody is joining you today, you might see or hear or feel them. Welcome and greet this being. Thank them for supporting you. You can ask for wisdom and what their name is. Trust your impressions. Now, everyone who goes to the fire, everyone who comes to the sacred fire, communicates from the heart. And that includes you. You're once again going to do the heart breathing. Focus your breathing on your heart to prepare you to communicate from the heart. Focus your breathing on your heart and imagine you're breathing in and out as if you're breathing in and out through your heart. Imagine you're breathing in and out love, unconditional love, universal love, breathing in love and out love. So love is in you and surrounding you. And of course, to amplify that feeling of unconditional love, invite your heart to open and see and hear and feel your heart opening. Perhaps like that rosebud opening to a magnificent orange or purple rose, or like a door opening, tunnel flowing, or vortex spinning. Really begin to breathe in and out of your heart to activate your heart's intelligence. Imagine you're breathing in and out love, unconditional love, universal love. And to amplify that feeling even more, you're going to become a time traveler. You're going to choose a memory when you felt very loving or loved or both. Could have been the same memory we did earlier or a new memory. Could have been petting an animal, holding someone, being held, dancing, walking the beach, some other way. With that count of 3, begin time traveling back to that loving memory. 2, double your relaxation and trust your impressions. 1, be in that wonderful loving memory now. See the details, hear the sounds, feel the feelings and the textures. Rewind it, replay it, make it bigger, brighter, more lifelike, and really feel that unconditional love, universal love. Breathe it in and out of your heart now, activating your heart's intelligence, creating that heart coherence. And then now you and your guide are ready to walk through that welcoming woods to the forgiveness fire, seeing with new eyes the beauty, perhaps the wildflowers, the mosses, the tall, majestic trees. Become aware of animals there welcoming you and greeting you. You might already begin to see the fire in the meadow, or hear its crackling, or smell its smells. Go to the forgiveness fire, that sacred fire now. Feel its warmth, its peace, its power, its presence. Take a moment to connect with the fire. I have important things for you to share with you that you probably already know. Forgiveness is such an important experience because when we forgive ourselves and when we forgive others, we release negative emotional states from our behaviors, from our reactions, and from our lives. Forgiveness is a feeling in your heart, in the intelligence of your heart, that truly understands you and knows how to help you be the best you can be. Forgiveness is a deep and lasting feeling that forever frees you. Forgiveness frees you of negativity, worry, anger, guilt, resentment. Forgiveness frees you. It's a divine, highly intelligent feeling that manifests as healing, freeing you, releasing your old thoughts, releasing your old patterns of behaviors, freeing you to be filled up with divine wisdom, power, and love. Forgiveness is an act of love. Now, in a moment, you're going to have an opportunity to invite in a person that you and your guide have decided is for your highest good today. Remembering that anyone you need to forgive or needs to forgive you or both, including yourself or someone who's passed on, can come. At this moment, you're going to most likely invite someone else. And then after we go through the process, you can have an opportunity to work with and invite yourself. For now, I'm going to count backwards. Allow each number to relax you and deepen you. When I get to that 1, invite a person there that you need to forgive or needs to forgive you or both. With that count of 3, trust your impressions, go even deeper. 1, even deeper. Oops, forgot 2. With that 1, invite in the first most important person and become aware of who's coming towards you now. Remember, this is higher self to higher self. From your heart, welcome and greet this being. Thank this brave person or energy for coming here today. And from your heart, begin communicating what you want them to know about you, your behaviors, their behaviors, other people's behaviors in a way that they can understand. Take a moment to do that now. And when you're ready, allow that person to respond to what you said in a way that helps you to heal, forgive, understand, let go. This being also may have some things they want to share with you about them or their behaviors, other people's, yours, in a way that makes sense to you now. And of course, go ahead and respond to what they said. And just have the two of you continue communicating and saying and doing everything that needs to be said and done for your highest good. In a moment, I'm going to have you become aware of any cord or cords coming out of you and where they're coming out of you, going to that person, and where they're coming out of that person, going to you. You just trust your impressions. With that count of 3, double that relaxation. 2, even deeper. 1. Become aware of any cord or cords coming out of you, where a cord is coming out of you, going to that person, and where that cord is coming out of that person, going to you. Trust your impressions, focus on one cord at a time, and notice its color, size, shape, textures. Become aware if it's flowing or stagnant or both. The thickness, the thinness. And then become aware of another cord, if there is another cord. Focus in, if there's another cord, on the size and the shape and the colors and textures, whether it's flowing or stagnant or a little bit of both. Check to see if there's another cord, and there might be. Notice where it's coming out of you, going to the person. Just become aware of all the cords coming out of you, going to that person now. And discover if there's any other cords coming out of that person, going to you, that you haven't already discovered. Good. Now, in a moment, you and your guide, or just you, whatever tool you would like to sever these cords with, and take back your memories or soul fragments and become whole and complete, so that your energy, your soul fragments, your memories come back into you, and you come back, become whole and complete, and their energy goes back to them. If there is a heart-to-heart cord, you may keep that cord or sever it and create a new one, heart-to-heart, if you were to choose that. Right now, you can sever all the cords, or all of them except the heart-to-heart. Pull out your favorite tool, and with that count of 3, 2, 1, sever those cords now. Sent. Feel your energy, soul fragments, memories coming back into you as you become whole and complete. Their energy goes back into them. And take a deep breath in. And then you have a choice now. You can create a new one or cleanse one that's already there, heart to heart, with spirit, with source, with light, with love. Up above you is a beautiful ball of healing energy and light, God light, source. See, hear, and feel unconditional love flowing into your head, into your chakras, out your heart. If you want to connect with that other person, you can continue to sense that unconditional love and forgiveness is also flowing down into their head and heart, into their chakras, out your heart's chakras and back into each other. Otherwise, just fill yourself up with that unconditional love. But if you want to connect that universal light and love with the person there, see it, hear it, feel it being flowing through your chakras into the heart, into each other's hearts, and then back up. Unconditional love and universal love. Now, I'm going to recite the Ho'oponopono prayer 4 times. This person can say it to you, or you can say it to this person, or both, or neither. Do what's best for you. And it goes like this. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Have the person go back from where they came. Go to the sacred fire. Feel its warmth, its peace, its power, and presence. And we're going to invite in a part of you next. This part of you could show up the same age, younger, or even older. I'll count backwards, allow each number to relax you and deepen you. When I get to 1, you're going to invite in a part of you for you to forgive or to forgive you. Trust your impressions. 3, even deeper now. 2, 1. Invite in a part of you now. And as you sense a part of you showing up, welcome and greet this brave part of you for coming here today. Notice how this part of you shows up and welcome and greet this part. From your heart, begin communicating what you want this you to know about you, your behaviors, this you's behaviors, or other people's in a way that makes sense to you now. Give this part of you an opportunity to respond to what you said, as well as share some things about this part of you, behaviors or other people's or yours, in a way that makes sense, that's healing, loving, forgiving. Everybody's always doing the best they can at the time, including you. You deserve to be loved, loving. And have the 2 of you continue communicating and saying and doing everything that needs to be said and done for your highest good. Perhaps you want to hold hands and look into each other's eyes. And from that light of love above you, feel that, see that, hear that unconditional love and universal love flowing down into your heads and hearts and chakras, all the way through the body, helping you become a team. Feel that light filling you guys up and surrounding you like a beautiful shield. I'm going to recite the Ho'oponopono prayer 4 times. You can say it to this you, or this you can say it to you, or both. And it goes like this. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Go ahead and hug and merge and become a dream team, working together like a well-oiled machine. Go to the fire, feel its warmth, its peace, its power, its presence. Thank your guide for being with you today. And on the other side of that fire is your future self as a result of this work and all the work that you've done. See, hear, and feel that future you, the evidence on the other side of that fire, like the quantum field of possibilities, your future self as a result of you doing this work. See the evidence, hear the evidence, feel the evidence. Notice what's in your life and no longer in your life. Go celebrate with your future self. Your future self is so grateful for you coming here today and doing this work. You're grateful to see the qualities and feel the qualities in that future you. Go ahead and ask your future self for some wisdom for yourself back at now. Trust what you see or hear or feel. In a moment, the two of you are going to merge. So all that insight and wisdom of your future self is going to flow right into the you of today, into your very DNA, upgrading and healing. Do that now as you become one. You can always come back here. Thank your guide, if your guide is still around, and begin walking through the meadow, through the woods, seeing the beauty in a new way, hearing the sounds and feeling this wonderful feeling. Walking through the woods, walking through the sand, and the water there is now a very, very healing water, a cleansing water, a place to rebirth. As you imagine yourself entering into that sacred water, cleanse off any last little bits of debris or residue, anything that no longer serves you, so that when you come out of that water, it's a new you. Good, very good. And when you're out of the water, put your hands on your heart and say hello to yourself. Say your name and say, I love you 4 times. Literally put your hands on your heart in the here and now as you say hello and your name and I love you. Now in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 up to 5. When I get to 5, you'll open your eyes like you had an incredible power nap. Starting right now with the count of 1, take a big, deep energy breath in. 2, speeding up with a wonderful feeling of well-being. 3, another big, deep energy breath in, speeding up with confidence, energy, love. 4, speeding up, and with the count of 5, open those eyes. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. You might sleep absolutely amazing tonight. If any of you had any discomfort before the session, any pain anywhere, you might be gone or greatly reduced. Check in with that. You might want to also take a moment to, at some point after, to write down your experiences.
Mhm.
and just be there for yourself, because sometimes this can bring stuff up. And that's okay, as long as you're there for you. Is everybody back? Let's see. A big stretch. And hello to all of you who I can see, and to all of you who I cannot see. If you enjoyed that, how about doing the little arm through? Okay, wonderful. Excellent. We are is going to be open to Q&A. Let me just talk for a couple of minutes about how you can, if you decide you want to do more work like this, because I have offered to the Spiritual Frontiers Fellowship a private hypnosis session with me, which works great on Zoom. As you know, sometimes it's just as good or sometimes better. It's a 2-hour session, and you get the guidebook that, I was reading some of the questions out of, and I call it a success manual and audios, and a 2-hour coaching to help you to break through something. To me, it's coaching with hypnosis. It's the most powerful way to make changes with hypnosis. And I had offered it for a special rate. But what I'm doing is, if you do reach out to me in the next couple days, what's today? Thursday, by Sunday, if you just reach out to me, like text me. My number is 219-929-8726. Of course, you can go to my website or email randylight@gmail.com. But I will give you the spiritual hypnosis online video. It's a 5-hour training, and you get hypnotized. I call it training. It's a class, but we do all kinds of fun spiritual things, even remote viewing, target and stuff. And it's really cool. So that's the gift, as long as you reach out to me by Sunday. If you want to learn how to do this, like for others, like Catherine and I do, and really, really help people with the fastest, most effective change agents, I am a trainer, and I train people to become hypnotists and Essential 4 certified hypnotherapists. I have a landing page, like enlightenedlivinghypnosisacademy.com. I have a website, randylighthypnosis.com. But if you reach out to me by Sunday as well, just reach out to me to let me know you're interested, and we'll set up a time to talk, because you want to carve out a new career path or add something. Because that's the beautiful thing about hypnosis. It's not just a healing modality. It's a career where you can actually make a living, and a lucrative living, helping people. And that's the beautiful thing. The training is June 2nd through 5th, and 8th and 9th, and then again in September. But I'm offering a 2-day training for you guys that I can send you the video modules, and you can come to the in-person training. But you can do a 2-day if you're just kind of curious and you want to know ways, if you're a yoga instructor and you just want to help people get better at Shavasana, and just understand the power of the mind and what hypnosis is, and get rid of the, just really take a deeper dive, but not all the way. You can do a 2-day. And if you jump in for the 6-day or the 12-day, I'll give you a free private session, but you still got to reach out to me. So I just wanted to share those things with you, and then we can open it up to questions, or possibly even, I know people love to process. I don't know how much time we have or anything like that, but.
Okay, excellent. As far as time, we have time. Did I understand that you're done? You're complete?
I'm complete. I was just going to say, and that's all I have to say about that.
And I didn't want to interrupt you. I'm so sorry. I kind of jumped the gun for a second. But that's a lot of great information. And I also put some links in the text chat. So if you need to connect to our site to get registered, or to contact you directly, as you were describing, the information is there.
Yeah, but if you go through Spiritual Frontiers, then it helps them too. So either way, we'll make sure that they're taken care of. So
awesome. So thank you so much for your talk. Kim likes me to just give a break here, and then we can, we wanted to say thank you, Randy. Do you have any closing statements or thoughts for us tonight?
Oh, gosh, love yourself. Love yourself. To love thyself is to love and thank all of existence. Be kind to yourself.
Yes.
Thank you. That's a
Thank
great
you.
message.
Well, thank you, everybody. Give a round of applause for our speaker, Randy, tonight. And
you.
thank you.
You're
Yes.
so welcome, you guys. Take care.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
I
Bye.
hear from you.